In the past few years, we can see that many large manufacturing companies have gradually transferred their production bases from China to Southeast Asian countries such as Vietnam or India. As the world's largest electronics foundry, Foxconn has not been able to stay out of it. It has also moved part of its industrial chain to India. But over time, Foxconn's investment in India seems to have encountered many difficulties, and the situation has finally reversed dramatically. In July 2024, Foxconn Technology Group announced that it would invest 1 billion yuan to rebuild a new headquarters building in China. Even big customers like Apple have moved some of the industrial chains that were previously moved to India back to China. This shift has undoubtedly brought unprecedented challenges to India's proud Make in India plan. What exactly is the problem that makes Foxconn struggle so much in India? What is the reason that prompted it to decide to return to the Chinese market? We will discuss these issues in detail next. If you like our video content, please click to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can receive all our latest video content. Now, let's get into today's topic. As a country with a population of 1.4 billion, the Chinese market is obviously a target that foreign companies around the world value very much. According to data, more than 40% of multinational companies choose to invest in China, and this attraction is obvious. In 2023, the China Council for the Promotion of International Trade surveyed more than 400 foreign-invested enterprises and found that 43% of the enterprises came from developed regions such as the United States and Europe, 71% were small and micro enterprises, and 45% came from traditional manufacturing. Especially in the fields of smart consumer devices and professional technical services, the growth of foreign investment reached an astonishing 332.9% and 103.1% respectively. These figures are enough to prove the confidence and expectations of foreign capital in the Chinese market. Of course, Apple, the world's largest company, is no exception. In order to expand its business in China, they have invested billions of dollars to build factories. After successfully entering the Chinese market, Apple began to look for local suppliers more actively to further optimize their supply chain. And this has to mention the famous Foxconn Group. Foxconn is a name that you may be more familiar with for its OEM products. The company started in the 1970s and 1980s and is one of the most famous large companies in Taiwan, China. It also occupies the position of a corporate giant worldwide. Years of development have made Foxconn an important partner of Apple. In 2010, with the strong support of Apple, Foxconn established a production base in Hunan Province, China. At that time, the city's export trade volume was only 3.456 billion US dollars, but in the next decade, this figure soared fivefold to 20.2 billion US dollars. This growth quickly made Foxconn one of the largest factories in the world. However, with the influx of more and more foreign-funded enterprises, the competition in the Chinese market has become increasingly fierce and gradually saturated. At the same time, the rapid rise in labor costs has also become a new challenge that companies have to face. The rapid development of China's economy has also brought about an increase in land rents and taxes year after year, and the original low-cost advantage has gradually disappeared. These factors have put tremendous pressure on the production costs of foreign-funded enterprises in China, forcing them to reevaluate their investment strategies in China. Compared with China, the labor costs and land rents in Southeast Asian countries such as Vietnam and India are more attractive. This has prompted many foreign companies to turn their attention to these regions, looking for production bases with lower costs. In particular, India, as one of the most populous countries in the world, has naturally become the first choice for many foreign companies. International investment banks, such as JP Chase, also have high expectations for the Indian market. They believe that India not only has a large population base, but also a market size that can meet the production capacity needs of global investors and manufacturers. Economists were equally optimistic, believing that India could create a large number of jobs for millions of workers every year as long as it could effectively utilize its resources. However, despite the bright prospects, the challenges of reality made this situation not so smooth. Just a few years later, many foreign companies that had invested in India began to withdraw, and even Foxconn, the world's largest electronics foundry, decided to return to China for key investment. In July this year, Foxconn Technology Group announced that it would invest 1 billion yuan in Hunan, China, to build a new business headquarters building. The investment involved 7 major central manufacturing projects, including headquarters management, R&D, strategic industrial development, and supply chain management. This is another major move after the listing of Foxconn's new headquarters in April, marking a new round of layout for Foxconn in the Chinese market. It is understood that Foxconn's decision to return to China this time is part of its New Era development plan. They also plan to launch multiple projects related to electric vehicles in China, including not only the production and installation of trial new cars, but also large-scale investments in the field of battery technology. Globally, electric vehicles are rapidly becoming an important development direction for future transportation, and Foxconn obviously does not want to miss this trend. At the same time, Apple Incorporated in the United States is also re-examining its global supply chain strategy. This year, Apple has begun to move some of the industrial chains that were previously transferred to India back to China. So why are these companies leaving India and returning to China? As far as I know, under Modi's leadership, India once proposed to replace China in 2048 and become a new generation of world factory. To this end, India has vigorously promoted the Make in India plan, trying to make it a pillar of the national economy by improving the level of manufacturing, and even claimed that it will surpass China in some areas. In order to realize the plan, the Modi government also proposed a strategy similar to China's reform and opening up, aiming to attract foreign investment into India through market opening and exchange market opening for foreign investment. By 2022, India's foreign investment inflows accounted for 12%, and with the support of the United States, the supply chain of Western countries also accelerated its transfer to India. That year, India's manufacturing industry attracted $11.3 billion in foreign investment. Although some achievements have been made, the actual progress is not satisfactory. However, when multinational companies began to gradually make profits in India, they faced various challenges from the Indian government. The Indian government imposed huge fines on these companies on the grounds of suspected omission of patent fees and evasion of tariffs. By 2023, nearly 2,800 multinational companies have been restricted and fined by the Indian government, including even American giants like Apple. At the same time, although India's electronics market has great potential, its electronics manufacturing foundation is weak and the industrial chain is imperfect. The dependence on imports of key components, lack of engineers, and limited technical capabilities have seriously hindered the development of enterprises. In addition, the Indian government has also implemented a de-Sinicization policy, tightening visa policies for Chinese citizens on the grounds of the outbreak of the New Crown epidemic and the Sino-Indian border conflict. This directly affects the import of important parts from China and also hinders a large number of technicians from providing on-site support in India. In addition to the above problems, local cultural habits and insufficient infrastructure construction in India have also seriously affected Foxconn's production efficiency. In such an environment, the yield rate of equipment assembled in India is only about 50%, which means that half of the products cannot pass quality inspections and need to be redone, which undoubtedly greatly increases production costs. In addition, the quality and efficiency of Indian workers are generally low, which forces Foxconn to invest a lot of resources in employee training and management. Despite great efforts, the production effect is still difficult to meet expectations. What is more difficult is that the power supply problem has also become a major obstacle for Foxconn to operate in India. Especially in the hot season, due to the tight power supply, The local government also requires the factory to reduce electricity consumption by 30%, which directly affects the normal operation of the production line. Faced with the superposition of these challenges, Foxconn's production and operation in India has become extremely difficult, far from achieving the expected production efficiency and quality standards. In the end, Foxconn decided to withdraw from the Indian market and return to China. Although the Indian government has announced plans to invest $24 billion in the next 5 years to promote employment, some experts believe that this move is too late. At present, the performance of the Make in India plan is not satisfactory, and more foreign-funded enterprises are beginning to withdraw from India, which poses a huge challenge to the Modi government. Foxconn's departure has triggered a series of chain reactions, and many industries that rely on Foxconn's OEM have also withdrawn from India, which further aggravates India's employment crisis. In my opinion, Foxconn's choice to return to China did not surprise too many people. After all, Foxconn's own development is closely related to China. China not only has all the industry categories classified by the United Nations, but also has a huge market, a large team of engineers and technical workers, an efficient and proactive government, and a stable social environment. These hardware and software conditions together constitute the unique advantages and strong resilience of China's manufacturing industry, which cannot be easily replaced or denied by anyone. In addition, China's complete industrial chain supporting and efficient logistics system provide Foxconn with a stable production base. Whether in the manufacture of electronic products or in the emerging field of electric vehicles, China is able to respond quickly to market demand. Previously, some experts pointed out that although China's demographic dividend period has passed, China's position as a manufacturing power remains unshakable. In the global supply chain, no country is as critical and comprehensive as China. So do you think Foxconn's departure from India and return to China is correct? To not miss out on our future projects and news updates, please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. We will continue to provide you with more exciting and interesting content.